Whip, 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 whip.
It's oink time, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Jen Carnovale.
I'm Benjamin Ellwood.
And this week we chat with the wonderful Stephanie Broadbridge.
Yay! Oh, guys, please do social media things. give
Yes.
23 half stars. It's the best. Rate us.
Thank you.
What a fucking joke. No, it's good. The internet's great.
Thank you to Young Henry's, our sponsor for the beer.
And thank you to Wow 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 for the theme song.
And, of course, to Sean Allen, our wonderful producer.
And guys, today with Stephanie, we discuss Bitchin. Bitchin. Do it live.
It's so funny when kids do that. Like, they're like, even to their parents, they're like, my mum's actually pretty fat and wants to lose weight. And you're like, I don't know if mum wants you to tell everyone that, mate. Like, it's fucking hilarious.
My favourites when they're like, my dad is 16 years older than my mum. I'm like, oh.
The funniest story is like, my mum doesn't like Chinese people. Like, I don't think mum wants anyone to know that. I had a kid say to me the other day, your head is really weird. It looks like two hedges on the side and a barren footpath through the middle. 7 years old, a barren footpath.
That's really articulate.
Oh, no, it's fantastic. But it was
brilliant.
like, you know, and like I laughed, but there's also that part of you that's like, oh, like it fucking hurts.
Oh, really?
Well, it hurts in the sense of like, it's that thing of like, you know, kids can't lie.
Yeah, but kids think everything's funny. Like,
They do
my
think
nieces will be like, Auntie Jen, you look like you're fat with big boobs in that jumper. And then they'll laugh and then they'll put like, you know, balls under their jumper to be like, and then they'll run away. Like, they don't care.
No. For me, I don't think it's the thing of like, it's not that the kid said it that's hurtful. It's that the kid is the one that has whatever, the lack of social graces to not say something. So there's the assumption then that, this is what everyone's thinking all the time. But the kid's the one. Like, so you do appreciate the kids saying it because it's just like, well, you know, it is so goofy and funny.
Yeah,
but then it's just like, well, if they're saying it, who's thinking it?
Yeah, you've got too much makeup on. You're like, does everyone think that?
What's on your face?
Acne. Yeah.
Do you try out bits on the kids?
No, never. I couldn't.
You don't pull out your ukulele and start.
I do, but I wouldn't do a bit with them. I would try and make them. I try and make them laugh heaps. They don't find me very funny.
Really?
They can't believe I do comedy because they're like, you're not funny at all. Like,
You don't fart ever.
yeah, but then what they find funny is like, they're obsessed with Donald Trump.
Yeah. Kids think
So
Donald Trump's
weird.
hilarious.
Well, because they see him as a big clown everywhere.
Yeah.
But also, there doesn't seem to be any confusion. I mean, I'm sure it's different in America. I'm sure there's whole contingents of kids in America that love him because their parents love
he's
him.
God.
Yeah, it's true.
But here it's, you know, he's so profoundly unpopular.
Like, they think he's a comedian.
Yeah, they think
But
he's really
he
funny.
kind of-
They see him on YouTube.
Yeah.
Dude, he kind of is. Like, you gotta admit, like, and you find fewer people that hate him, like, more than I do. Like, he's the harbinger of all the horror that's coming our way. Like, I really think historically maybe the worst person that's ever been. Like, he's just, I know there's like heinous war criminals and everything, and maybe carried to his logical conclusion that's what he will become. But just in terms of like just pure id and gross kind of self-serving whatever, he's just the epitome of it. But he's also very funny.
Yeah.
Like, he has impeccable comedic timing.
Well, he's charming. Not to me, but there's clearly a charming quality in there, which is why people think he's God. The people who like him love him and think he's chosen as a fucking holy man. But I reckon the kids also know about him because they take in information differently, so you can't escape him. So even if they're watching Thomas the Tank Engine on their iPad, there's usually like videos and shit that are popping up of Trump, or he's on the news, or he's on whatever. Like it's you know, when I was little, you watched ABC Kids and then that was it.
Yeah, that's
there was
true.
no
There's
risk
no
of
ads,
like an ad for. And in America, Donald Trump's done this again. You know, like he's like the most famous thing they can probably.
I was talking to a kid the other day that knew who Boris Johnson is. Do you think like at 8 you would have known who the fucking Prime Minister of England was?
No.
I think I would have if he had funny hair.
Yeah.
Yes. If he made you laugh, you would.
Yeah.
If you look like a clown, which he does. Yeah, that makes sense.
It must be. I can't even imagine like how, because like they reckon that 1,000 years ago people, and of course it makes sense because your brain kind
We're
of
evolving.
is plasticine and responds to whatever the stimulus is. But they reckon like before maps were a thing, people would have whole kind of like I don't even know how you prove this, but would have like whole 3-dimensional kind of schematics in it. No, they proved it by
There's
going
still-
to like a tribes.
Yeah,
where
there's still cultures who,
Yeah.
instead of saying go left, right, go north, whatever, they use north, south, east, west.
Yeah, and they've got
as
like
a general way. So they're aware of where they are.
Yeah.
They're like a friggin' compass.
Yeah, and they've got a kind of a real-time GPS going in their head, and it's like, oh, I'm walking past
Because it's
this
trained.
particular rock, and exactly, it's
And
a
the
sense.
sun's in this position, whereas I couldn't tell you what way I'm facing now.
Yeah, of course.
Maybe
Like
east.
Bear Grylls comprehends reality very. If Bear Grylls is walking through the bush, he's seeing and experiencing shit and sensing stuff that we couldn't even imagine.
I think we all see things very differently. I mean, the most basic thing is how artists see something how an amazing artist would see an image and then how I would see it would be pretty different. They'd see so many more colors and so much more, lines and whatever, it's like.
I think comics see time differently.
What do you mean?
Like, I reckon we're really good at knowing what time it is, or like just knowing awareness of time.
Or timing.
Like how long minutes are and stuff.
Yeah, right.
And stretching time.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like if you're saying the words of a joke while, like one of my favorite things, I was talking to someone about this. I was talking to Rath about this the other day, where like you're saying a joke and while you're saying it, your brain is having a conversation with you about what the next set you're going to do is and whether it's working. I feel like that's sort of playing with time because it feels like you're actually going through a bunch of stuff that you could do and you're like analyzing the ideas while you're speaking. It feels like a lot's happening. It's about maybe a 10-second period.
No,
So that's fun.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I
yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty cool.
But it's also like just in a really boring sense. It's like, how many jobs do you reckon they have where it's like you're timed talking like that? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. The Amazon warehouse employees would be very aware of time.
that's true.
Oh man, that shit's torture. Have you seen what they do? That's straight up torture.
But that's
But that's
different. That's
weird.
beating the clock somehow. Like racing and stuff, like sports and stuff. But it's beating. You're trying to.
Yeah.
We're not competing with it. It's just like.
But that's interesting what you said because I've never heard anyone articulate that before.
What?
About stretching time. Do you guys
I'm
feel
a
like
genius.
but do you guys have because I feel like that a lot. Like,
Yeah.
you got to be in very particular headspace. I think you've got to be
Yeah.
in total flow to be able to pull it off. But like, have you ever had that thing? And I'm not even talking necessarily on stage where it's like whatever you've fucking got to do something and you've got like 3 minutes to do it, and all of a sudden it's like I got all the time in the world, and it's almost like your actions are so deliberate and precise and without hesitation that time becomes.
I've probably only experienced it on stage, not in life. On stage, I have heaps. I mean, in life maybe, but not. It's never felt exciting. Like it's been like, oh, I've got to take this to here, and then it takes less time than I think. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, I feel like I can sometimes pull that off. It's a fucking weird feeling.
No, it's only on stage for me.
Yeah?
Never ever.
Even on stage?
Especially on stage.
Really?
Yeah.
What, you always feel like you're in a race against the clock?
Opposite.
That you don't, that it's too long?
It's too long. Every set I've ever done, I've been given too much time.
Oh no!
I always feel, I do that before every fucking gig.
Yeah.
It'd be a 10-minute gig and I'll be like, look, I might do 10, but like, don't get angry at me if I walk off at 5.
Yeah.
Oh no!
That's the thing I ask every booker. I'm like, what's the shortest amount of
No, but don't you think, I reckon
I
that's got,
waffle too much.
I reckon
like
that's
it.
got more to do with the fear of failure. Like, for me,
If I
it's
go
like,
off 2 minutes earlier, it won't be bad. But if I stay for the full 15,
yeah. Well, no,
it'll be a car crash.
if I'm dying, if it's all going just putridly bad.
which I assume it will.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's how it will be.
Oh,
Yeah.
they'll want you to get off quick, like faster than you want to. Like, they'll be fucking fine if you get off. I've never seen someone die in the arse and have the runner go, I just wish they'd do another 4 minutes to get them. You know?
Oh, it depends though. Like if you're hosting,
Oh, hosting's different though because you have to.
Or
MCing's
headlining
different,
as well?
Different.
No, I disagree. If you're hosting and you're fucking dying, they do not want to see you do the bare minimum and bring the fucking acts on.
Yeah,
No,
but
they
you got
wanna
to
see you
try.
try.
You got to at least try.
You
got
got to try different things.
Having said that,
You can't just do one of your jokes, your bombs, and be like, oh, well, this is someone else's problem now, even though I'm the only one getting paid. Like, you can't do that.
we've got a room runner mate who's known for being very blunt in the industry. He makes me laugh. He's hilarious. And I was just doing a spot, and the MC was there, and the MC was just not getting it. Like they were just not into him. He was fucking trying every trick in the book. He was like, you could see he was working. Okay, like
Yeah, that's
working.
fine.
Yeah, and it's fine. It just didn't fucking happen. He got off and the room runner said to him, because he came up to me later and I go, you're doing a good job, man. Like, don't be too hard on yourself. Because he was trying to do a good job. Would I say you're hilarious? No, because he was not funny. And he goes, well, he wasn't, but he was doing a good job. There's heaps of gigs I've done where someone's like, that was hilarious. And I'm like, no, it wasn't, but I tried really fucking hard.
That's it. That's like trying.
It wasn't funny. And he said, I was like, you're doing a good job. Like, I can see you trying really hard. Just keep going. Like, fuck them. And he said, oh, well, the room runner. He goes, you're doing well when the room runner just walks up to you and goes, yeah, look, mate, they're not into you. Just keep it fucking tight.
But I respect that. I respect that more. Yeah.
I was like, well, you know what? If I was in his position and I was trying to MC and I just couldn't get them, that'd probably be a sigh of fucking relief.
Yeah.
Like, I'd be like, sweet, they hate me. You don't give a fuck. Tick. All right, I'm just bringing them on up,
There must come a point where you surrender to the fact that no one wants to fucking see you.
Oh,
if
there's
you're
done-
just
yeah.
eating shit, it doesn't matter if you're the MC. At this point, it's like, it's more, there crosses a threshold where you're now detrimental to the show. You doing your job is detrimental, so just...
But I think everyone feels that. Oh, sorry.
No, I was just going to say, I will say, if you were MCing, that would be way fucking harder to accept because your entire job is to bring people.
No,
Yeah,
I
but
know.
you can just do, I don't know.
I'm
I
terrified
reckon,
of
like,
MCing. It's too much responsibility.
I don't mind
I
it
don't
now.
mind
I used to
emceeing
be.
because it's like, for me, it's like if I'm just being admin and polite,
Yeah, and it's kind of
sometimes that's enough.
conversational.
Like, because I'm like, I just have to make sure that I get people's names right. That's way less pressure than being like funny.
Oh, we were talking about this because both of us.
Do you reckon?
I think you have to be funny as the MC.
Not
as well,
really.
though.
No, though. Like, no.
I think you do in
Kind
the beginning.
of, but not really. Like, it's
And if
not as
someone-
important. I reckon people knowing what's happening
But see, that's when-
and setting up the space so that people will laugh is more important than being
That's
funny.
when my ego is just
I
like,
think you need to be funny because if someone dies, it's your job to bring the room back up.
But you can't be too funny. You
yeah.
can't be the funniest on the
No,
night.
but you can be like friendly and reliable and a bit goofy.
But you can do that without getting a laugh.
Yeah, I guess. I don't mind emceeing. But
Yeah.
what I was going to say is we both emceed a gig and I think we were talking about how there was a list of names and both of us had never seen the names
Yeah.
before and how for the first time in years I was so anxious to MC.
Yeah.
Because
That
every
was
other gig I'll be like,
terrifying.
cool, Ellwood, Broadbridge, yes.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I
yeah.
get up and I don't have to think. Like I don't have to go.
Very Anglo
No,
names.
you just
No,
remember.
but I don't have to
No,
go
you just
like
know them.
Anna Broadbridge. Like I'm like I already know your name. You know what I mean? Like it's not like Kalita, fucking whatever. It's already in there. And all of a sudden I had a list of like 10 names and I knew none of them. I'd never heard of any of them. I didn't know how to pronounce half of them. And you realize how much you rely on that as a MC where you're like, well, I just know you.
That
like
room, that room also likes you to go around and ask people how they would like to be brought up and if they're promoting anything.
I told them they can come to me.
Oh, that's so smart. I went around to everyone.
like I was really blunt.
What a
I was like,
world.
I don't
what
know.
a fucking world.
They all
Everyone's their
had
own
fringe
fucking
shows. They all
product
had
now.
fringe
It's
shows, and I had
just-
to remember their names and then their names of their fringe shows and the dates and venues of their
Hi,
fringe
guys.
shows.
Yeah, I said
I'm a
if
brand.
anyone wants to chat to me, tell them to come up. I didn't want to be a dick, but I was like, I don't know who these people are. I'm not just going to fucking walk up to randoms in this room and go, hey, are you on? Because if they're not, it makes the whole room look shit. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah,
If I'm
yeah,
in a room
yeah.
and people are like, hey, are you up next? And I'm just there to watch, I'd be like, no, but am I the only one
I
who's not
stood by the-
performing? Like, that's not a great vibe.
I stood by the chalkboard.
Oh man, I just waited and ate my schnitty, and whoever wanted to come up, one chick came up, asked me to promo her show, And I was like, no worries, babe. And then I just totally fucking and she came up afterwards too. And I was like, look, mate, I'm really sorry. I don't know what to tell you. I'm just happy I got your name. And that's no offense. It's just like, I don't know. Like, I don't know.
She's still at a stage in her...
Yeah, like you don't know me. I don't know you, you know.
She's still at a stage in her career where she thinks the MC shouting out her show title is going to get any numbers through the door.
Let's fucking be honest.
Probably would though in that room.
Really?
Yeah, I reckon.
In that room,
I really reckon it would.
I'm at peak cynicism at the moment with all of this. I can't.
I'm loving
I can't
it.
Get
I
through
love it too, man. I fucking love it. Ben's like,
what am I going to do?
you live vicariously through me a little bit because I always tell you guys.
I do like having my ear to the ground with everything that's going on, but increasingly, it's feeling like I've left the school and like getting more and more gossip about people like new kids that I've never met before, and it's I don't know what you're talking about. What is going on?
Or I get excited and I'll be like, man, this person had a great set, or this new comic I didn't know fucking killed and that was so funny. And Ben will just be like, I don't know who the fuck that is. I don't know who that is. I'm like, well, if you go to a fucking comedy night, they're really funny. They're new. Like, they're like, whatever.
What do you want out of comedy, Steph?
Oh, fuck. I don't know. I keep changing my mind.
What do you like between what?
I think most of the time, I just want to be better than I am now.
Yeah.
But then every now and again, I get very resentful.
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard to. It's hard.
It's weird. 'Cause, yeah, I'm like, I don't think I'm ready for that stuff yet. But then that person got it, and I don't think they're ready for it either. And now I'm cross.
Yeah. That's the problem. That's the that's the problematic cycle that I keep getting stuck in. Like I'll quit. Whatever, I'll throw a tantrum, and then I'll do is like bang on like, fucking comedy sucks, and then like I'll spend a few months being like, oh maybe I should get, and then I'll get back in, and I've had enough time off where I'm like, that's it, I'm just doing it for me now, and it's all about fucking my needs and what I want to do, and I'm finally doing it for no other purpose.
But don't you just enjoy it?
But it's so hard not to get dragged back into that fucking.
I reckon if you're in it for long enough, like I feel like I've done it for long enough now where it's purely for the joy. Because I'm not trying to win any newcomer anything. Like I feel like I went over a hump where in the beginning I felt really lonely because a lot of people I gigged with, like Ben, had just dropped off. And so my whole network of people I came up with were gone. And then I'd see all these new guys who had like this massive group, because when we came up there was like 10 new people a year and a half.
Yeah, right.
And now there's like fucking every week there is like 5 more new people. And so I felt really, really lonely. And so I was like, well, I need to do it if I enjoy it because it's the only thing, because I'm not here to hang out because I don't know anyone. But now I just love it. I love going to the room. I love seeing everyone get nervous. I like trying out new shit. I love hearing the gossip. I love getting excited when someone does a new bit that makes me so happy. I love certain rooms, like just gigging in certain rooms.
Yeah.
So fun,
I miss feeling like the best.
Yeah, well, that was a long time ago. That pedestal's well and truly gone.
No, I miss that. I miss the ego boost, that's for sure. But I don't know, like.
The rush. If you fucking kill, or if you have that moment where it feels really alive and you're like with the audience, or like
that stuff is good, right?
That's so great.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, but it's like once a year for me. Like
nah, it's
talking
heaps.
About.
I love it.
It's like once a year, I
No,
reckon. You get one of those
that's what you
gigs,
feel, but you gotta. That's.
Where you feel like you're with the audience. It's like once a year.
No, like the magic ones where everything feels and you feel like you're in control and it's working and everything's happening.
I reckon that's more.
Like
I
once a
reckon
year.
that's you getting in your own way in your own head, because I've seen you do really well.
But you can do well in a hot crowd. It doesn't mean that you feel like it was.
But that's what I mean.
A good gig.
Yeah,
but that's what I mean. It's like
that's true.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
Because I reckon I'll just come out of a gig and be like, I could have maybe got more out of that crowd.
Oh no, my bar's low. If I have fun, I'm like, fuck, that was fun,
no,
and then I go home.
I've done gigs where they haven't laughed once, and I'm like, that was awesome. Like,
I love bombing.
Like...
Sometimes bombing's amazing. I love bombing.
I try not to. I get pumped if I think of a new bit, or pumped if there's like a moment that feels really alive. But I can't.
Do you guys force yourselves to? Well, I guess you don't anymore. But do you force yourself to write, or do you just when stuff comes?
Stuff comes, but I probably need to force myself more. Usually stuff just comes organically, or like something will happen and that'll trigger something.
You and Mads used to write a lot when you first started.
Heaps, but it was so easy.
Yeah.
you know. And it was different because it was with someone else. But that
It was
that was
easier,
so
yeah.
easy. I mean, but that type of writing for me is still so easy because just making fun of different characters.
Yeah.
Is very fun and easy to do.
I used to write.
Storytelling and stand-up stuff is a bit harder for me.
When I used to do more bitty bits rather than stories, they were like really written.
Yeah.
So there were these long sentences, you know, that the wording had to be exact.
Yeah.
But then, you know, it's hard to pull stuff like that off where it sounds organic. And
Yeah.
not just some, you know.
Yeah, and I
like,
feel like the audience loses something from that. I feel like half of it is when they know it's organic. Well, I know it is because if I try a new bit and then they'll laugh and then I'll go back to a bit I know and then the energy's gone and I feel like it's from me performing it.
No, I know. Isn't
but
that
I feel
crazy?
like they also know.
How do
you
I reckon that happens sometimes, but then sometimes in crowds you have the opposite where they can smell a new bit.
Yeah, but I feel like
won't go for it.
when I do a
that's
new
when
bit,
it's like crackles. It's
yeah,
fucking
I feel like if
good.
I do a new bit, it goes really well, and then I'll try and do something. Like I'll try and cradle it with something old that I think I feel like a bit safe about, and it will die in the ass, and I'll be like, "Man, this
because
is
you
the
go
bit
into
I closed
recitation
with."
mode. It's because you're reading auto cue off the back
Yeah,
of your
totally.
eyelids. Like
But,
they just know it,
do you
and they
find
don't
that-
even know that they know it.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So, what about you though, Steph, with writing?
I write an hour a day.
Whoa.
Like I force myself to.
Yeah, just write out. Is
And
it
then
sort
I
of like ideas, concepts, rambling songs?
If I've got an idea, I'll put it in like a note in my phone, like just keywords.
Yeah.
But I won't try and work it out when I get the idea. I'll try and work it out in that scheduled time I have.
Really?
Yeah.
Does that help you?
Yeah, because then I've processed it.
Oh man, no, when I have the idea, I'm like off talking to myself. I don't care where I am. Because if I try and go back to it later, I'm like, why did I think that was funny?
But that's kind of I use that as my guide. So I'm like, if I don't think it's funny tomorrow.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Do you guys have that thing where it's like
That's a really good idea.
I can sit like I've been writing.
A diary.
Well, no, I've been writing a diary for years, but like recently over the last couple of years, like there's no eye of publishing this or anything. I'm like purely doing it for myself, which is why it's so easy to do. Like I'm basically writing. It sounds so wanky, my autobiography, but like just writing all the things I can remember about my life.
A day in the life of Benny.
Well, you know, and like picking like at the moment it's like relationships and it's just like thousands upon thousands of words of just everything I can remember. But it flows so organically and so like effortlessly, you know, and then I'll read it back and go, oh man, that's like really good writing. And you weren't thinking about it. And the reason it's so easy and that it's coming out so good is because it's just for me. Like, the idea of showing it to anyone is mortifying because it's like so wanky.
Really?
But the moment I sit down to go, I am writing comedy.
But that's yeah.
What?
Well, it makes sense though because I would judge anything I was going to show people.
But it's
Like I draw at home by myself all the time, and I would never show people.
But
and
to
if
the
I
point
was
where
to,
it's
I would-
paralyzing. It's paralyzing.
I would never show people stuff I've drawn. 'cause
Really?
It would be
For me to sit
embarrassing.
down, like I've got half a dozen ideas in my iPod at the moment of things that I think would be really funny bits.
Yeah.
And every time I've sat down, in exactly the same way I would do this autobiography writing,
Yeah.
going, okay, just write, just freeform, go, just start
Yeah.
typing about this concept. It just freezes up and I can't do it. And all I can imagine is myself on stage saying this thing and that's not funny. It's like, no, this isn't the part where you're trying to find the funny bit. This is just the bit where you're getting it all out.
I don't know about that, but it makes perfect sense to me to say that it's way easier to do things without showing people.
I disagree.
Really?
I wouldn't do anything.
If it wasn't to show people.
Yeah, I would do nothing.
Really?
I would literally
See,
do
all my
nothing.
best
If I didn't have
stuff-
a reason for writing it, I wouldn't write it. I lie to myself all the time and set these fake deadlines that don't exist.
That's great.
Yeah.
To make sure you write.
Yeah. It's like you have to have a new 5 for this open mic on this date. Like,
That's
no,
good.
I don't. But I just will tell myself I do.
Maybe I need to start doing shit like that.
Why
Yeah.
though? If you're getting pleasure out of what you're doing, like, I'm not
No,
suggesting.
because I do. No.
It makes me productive. I wouldn't say it makes me enjoy the process.
Because I feel like if I could apply that level of writing to something that I was showing people,
Yeah.
it would be really good.
Plus, if I have a bit, I want to get it out at the open mic straight away in case someone else comes up with it. So if I think of an idea and I like it, I assume someone else is going to think of it like tomorrow.
Yeah, of course. Now it's out in the noon.
So I'm like, I I have to be the first one.
Well, they reckon that's a true thing.
That's so funny. I never think that. But that's a valid.
But they
way
do
to-
reckon that they reckon there's
Like,
a true
get
thing.
it out, Steph. Just it doesn't matter what form it's in yet. Just say
Get
it
it
on
out
stage.
first.
Yeah, be the first one. Be like, I said that first. That was my idea.
My concept.
My idea. You can't have it. It's like a form no one wants it. Doesn't matter.
In the world of Twitter, is there even such a thing as an original fucking comedy concept anymore?
Oh.
Like, you know what I mean? Where people are just like, that's a stolen joke. Like, that was in a comedy special from 1972 by.
But I mean, if it's
Yeah, but I mean,
I mean, if it's word for word, of course. But if it's just a concept, like whatever, fucking.
no, I think it's
relationships are hard.
ridiculous to say you can't talk about a concept. I mean, that's obscene.
Obscene.
There'd be
I
nothing
don't
left to
know.
talk about.
I
That's
mean-
fucking ridiculous.
I've been thinking about it a lot after being accused of joke thievery. And I reckon that if you've got a decent enough origin story to how you came up with it, then it's not theft.
Yeah, of course.
Do you know what I mean? Like if you can back up
But also, unless
why
it's
you
word
thought
for
of
word,
it.
I think it's not theft.
Oh,
if it's a
totally.
different, I can.
But I mean, within yourself, because
We're all
otherwise you'll just be
drawing-
in your head going, "Oh, maybe I did hear that." You know,
oh
like,
yeah.
Unless you're talking about personal life experiences, we're all drawing from the same well.
And we're all in a pretty small well. Like we're
But
all in one
personal-
area of Sydney.
But isn't like observational comedy just that? Isn't just personal life
No, but
experiences
there's- I mean,
that we
there's
share?
sometimes-
Like that's what that is.
No, but sometimes you have a story that's uniquely yours and could. Although,
Oh yeah, for sure.
I used to have a bit about a fucking prize-winning show dog getting into a backpack of mine and eating a kilo of weed butter and going through an existential crisis. I was like, yeah, no one could ever do that bit. And like a couple of years later, I saw her do, and he hadn't, like, it was an interstate guy, he'd never seen me.
Yeah.
Did virtually the exact same bit. And it was like, fuck, there is no. Is that a quote from the Bible? There truly is nothing new under the sun.
Yeah,
I don't know, but one of the designers was like, one of the head fashion designers, I'm going to say, it wasn't Chanel, but they were like, the only people who believe in originality are those with no memory.
Of course.
But I remember that one of the years I started, which would have been ages ago, I saw like 3 prominent male comics at the time in Melbourne, and they all had the same story in their shows. And I remember thinking if it was set up or not. It was a story where they bumped into a woman on the bus or something, and they thought their bags were swapped. And the whole premise was they basically stalked a woman with the underlying message being, I've got to tell her, so I followed her. And then I kept following. And then she walked into her house, and I was like, well, it's fine if I just, I've got her bag. Like, that was the whole, and they all delivered it so fucking similarly. And I remember being like, this is either an in-joke or this is just how sad comedy is right now. And I remember finding out a year later from one of the dudes who I think is really funny and still around today, that it was just they all wrote the same shitty joke and thought it was hilarious.
But there is, I can't
That's
remember.
crazy.
Yeah.
I can't remember
Well,
what
I
it's
didn't see the third one. I only saw 2, and I had heard later there was 3 of them.
But they reckon, whoever, I probably heard it on some Radio Lab podcast or something, but this idea that like once, this is pretty esoteric and maybe not even true, but they reckon once an idea is kind of in the whatever
Zeitgeist?
collective
Yeah.
unconscious, like they did some tests, MIT or something did some tests about crosswords, the New York Times crossword, where when they would release one that had already been previously released, there was a higher percentage of people across the board that got the right
Engaging.
answer. As though the answers were out there because they'd already been thought. This is so stupid. I sound like a fucking moron even describing it. But you know what I mean? It's like that thing of like, if Newton hadn't discovered gravity, someone would have discovered gravity.
Yeah.
There's only so many fucking things to draw from. And with comedy, it's like, I mean, I'm wondering if that, like, I've heard that bit as well.
Yeah, I'll tell you later.
Not even from Australian guys. I've heard that from an American guy. That exact same bit.
Maybe that was.
I was walking down the street and I kept following her. And I wanted to tell her that I wasn't stalking her, and so I sped up.
Yeah, that's the whole premise.
Yeah, I've heard that.
But you can see how they got there though. Like you can work it backwards.
Yeah,
I reckon that, especially with that joke.
Yeah.
Yeah,
how
of course.
they thought it was funny and how they all came up with it.
Well, and also because I don't know when was this?
Oh, I don't know. It was like after me and Mad stopped working together. Maybe, I don't know, when did we come back home? 2014? I don't know.
It would have been just about the time, like maybe when all of a sudden, like there was the point I remember where every guy was feeling uncomfortable because they were stressed about the fact that they would be seen as stalking or following.
Oh, no, I reckon it was before.
So it was before
that?
that?
Oh, I reckon it was before that.
And then there's
But
been
you know what I mean?
there's been a
'Cause that was-
backlash against that now.
Yeah.
There's a whole
I don't
bunch of
know.
dudes like, I'm not fucking slowing down when I walk behind a woman at night. Fucking if she's scared, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I'm not walking across the road.
I'm like, oh, dude, like, is it that much of a hassle to just cross the road?
Yeah, I don't know. But you can see, I can see the working
Yeah, how they got
backwards of
there.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
All
I don't know.
this-
I've never told a story on stage, so I wouldn't have a clue.
What, like,
I like
do you feel
telling
you feel
stories.
more comfortable being a gag lady?
Yeah.
Like, do you ever see yourself?
Ben was a gag guy for a while before you told stories.
Yeah, before I felt but yeah, I think I was shit when I was doing that.
I'm like,
Well, it
set
didn't
up,
fit
here's
for
an
you. It
didn't fit.
example. That's usually my style.
Do you-
Set up the premise and then here's an example of how to justify that premise.
Yeah. Is that like do you have any kind of like do you have anything in your head where you're like, when I'm at a certain stage, I want to,
Yeah, for sure.
like where do you want to go?
I want to be able to do everything.
Yeah.
I want impressions. I want to be a storyteller. I want to be a clown. I want to be everything. I want to do everything.
Yeah.
But do you challenge just like, do you set it, like, you set time challenges for yourself?
Yeah, definitely. So this year I've been all about crowd work and riffing and that stuff. That's why I started doing cactus juice, was I wanted to get better
Yeah.
at crowd work. So once a week I have to just do crowd work, no bits.
Yeah.
And then
That's a good exercise.
it's terrifying. I'm still suck at it, but it's getting less scary.
No, but it's so good that you're doing that, man. There's so often you go to a fucking open mic room and you just see someone come out and it's like, man, I've heard you do that joke exactly
We
the
have
same for
regular-
5 years. Why are you doing that at a fucking
They
room
must
where
get-
there's 3 people in the audience?
But we have
Must get
regular people come every week, so you can't
Yeah.
You're forced not to. You just can't.
I would love to, because it's really just allowing yourself to do it. But I've wanted to do so many different types of shows over the years and I've never done them. Like weird character stuff and things like that. And then
You should. You're a really good actor.
And then hey,
You
did you
are.
see me in the Woolies ad? Because that's about as far as it
On
goes, I
stage,
think.
you're a really good
But
actor. You
thanks.
sell. You can sell.
No, you do. When
But
you
I
go into
would like
impression
to-
mode,
Yeah.
you
When
are.
you're doing
Very,
your
very,
people
very.
and this person said that or
But
whatever.
I don't
it's-
know how
Look how she's talking over the top of the compliments
I
as though
know,
they're not
I know.
happening. But anyway,
Anywho, as I was going to say, but I find it really hard to know how to leap off that. So it's good that you're like, I want to improve this, and you're doing it. Like that's really good. Like you said, you want to try, you want to be
Yeah,
able
that's
to do
because I
it
think
all.
I suck. So I just constantly
Yeah,
have to
No,
get
so
see,
do
better.
I, and it's still hard.
Steph.
It's still hard for me to. I don't think I would nail it. Like I think I would need to work really hard at it, but it's still hard for me to begin that platform where I feel like it's impressive that you were like, I feel like I fucking suck and I want to be able to do this. So I'm going to start running a room every week where I have to. Like that's ballsy. Like that's
Dude,
pretty.
I've got
Yeah,
this.
I mean, it does come from a place of arrogance where I assume if that person can do it, then I can do it. Do you
And
know
you
what I mean?
can,
But
but
on
it's
some
good.
level, it's like self-belief that's also
Tempered
Yeah,
with
yeah.
self-loathing.
Yeah.
But you have to
Oh,
have
of
those.
course, of course.
Otherwise,
which every comic has.
But
Well,
you
every
must.
person has.
But it's impressive, I think, still.
oh, dude, I wish.
Thank you.
There's this entire side to my personality that's like,
Yeah, you don't let go. You don't.
that's like 10,000 times funnier than anything I've ever done on stage. Like when I'm hanging out with my friend Blake.
Is this about you
and-
being a drag queen again?
I do have a secret desire to be a drag queen. No,
watched that.
There's but like when I'm with my friend Blake, we have this level of playfulness that it's just complete. It's like that childish riffing and
It's goofy.
improv. It's just improv,
And it's sweet.
and you start playing it, and I do
Yeah.
like me and him have like 6 different characters we do with each other, and you
Yeah.
start a sentence in the voice of that character, having no idea where it's going to go. But in the end, we're like rolling around crying and laughing. And he's constantly saying, like, why don't you even attempt to do any of this stuff
Yeah.
on stage? Like, why haven't you ever sung on stage? Why haven't you? And it's like the idea of it is so
Yeah.
mortifyingly
Why though?
Why?
I completely
it's
relate.
terrifying.
But why is it?
I reckon it's because, like, I only...
Is it committing? Is that what it is?
He's the only person in the world that has ever seen me in full force like that. Like, when we carry on together, it's like... It's obscene, like dancing and singing and just like ridiculous, playful stuff.
It's like free and camp.
It's exactly, it's camp and it's free, exactly. And we're just like,
I know I haven't
just
seen
being
you with Blake, but I know
stupid.
exactly the part of you that you're
yeah.
referring to.
You've seen bits of it. I don't think you've ever seen the
I
full
haven't seen it in
fucking-
full flight with Blake, but I feel like I
Well,
know what
my
you're
friend, my dearest friend of 20 years, Ben, had never seen that side of me until We went away a few weeks ago, all three of us, to Tasmania, and I think he was confronted by it. It was like, whoa, like
It's
I've known
good.
you.
It's playful.
Well, yeah,
It's
but it's
way
like,
more
well,
playful than how you normally are.
But
No,
you'll
exactly.
be able to sell it when you're comfortable in it.
No, but it's not about
Right?
selling it because it's the that's the thing. I think that's what it is. It's the opposite of selling. It's and I think it's a feeling of safety. Because
Yeah.
the thing is, when I'm hanging out with Blake, if I start doing a stupid character, like we always do this impression of Alejandro Jodorowsky, this South American director that we both like, and so we'll go on these like long tangents, philosophical tangents in this ridiculous voice. And I know that if it just falls flat with him, it'll just be like, and we'll just roll on to the next thing.
There's no
consequence.
Yeah, there's no gamble.
Exactly. And it's like the play you do when you're a child, where it's just like you're playing to play.
Yeah.
And I think and this has always been my problem with comedy, even the side of comedy that I do well, as soon as you introduce the idea of I am doing this for a purpose, beyond just play, all of a sudden it's like the eyes are watching.
It's like you and your writing. You introduce it for someone else and it loses some of its charm.
Yeah. It's
Perhaps.
just not happening.
Or not, but yeah.
But I'm like, that's been artistically a problem for me my whole life. As soon as it's like the Eye of Sauron. It's just staring, and it's like, oh God, I'm going to.
I can't even imagine that.
It's awful.
I think it's because you're like, if I gig, when I'm up there, I'm preempting a lot of stuff in my head. Like I'm playing with options that could come from the audience.
Yeah.
Not necessarily in real time, but I'm like prepared for people to spit out whatever they're gonna, do or say. Whereas I would imagine I would feel a lot more vulnerable if I was doing like a character thing that was still a comedy, but I would feel more vulnerable because I could see how I could make fun of it.
Yeah, exactly fucking right.
Is that what it is?
No, and it's also that thing of like
interesting.
It's that thing of like you're a grown person, like like when I
like you're a fucking grown woman,
and you're acting like a fucking fool.
Yeah, like this, and
Like
there's nothing worse than like average fucking character shit or like kind of crap campy stuff. Like you have that in their brain where you're like, oh God,
and totally.
Yeah,
like when I look at like like Tom Walker or Shane Matheson or just someone being a fucking clown on they're up there like doing like opera or some shit, and it's just like, where do you get the fucking balls
Yeah,
to
they're
stand
so
there
vulnerable.
and do that? Because like, it's one thing if you're on a fucking like, I'm doing a bit, I'm really angry about fucking escalators and a guy farted on the escalator. If they don't laugh, we're like, well, fuck you. I knew that you wouldn't be
but
good.
even if you're not aggressive, you're just like, yeah, I know. Like, what the fuck was I thinking? Like, you're still human.
There's an
and
escape
you're still you going, oh my God,
and
guys.
you can wink at camera and go, this is artifice and this is me.
You can't do that if you're like dressed in a ridiculous manner, or if you have music cues or whatever the fuck.
The amount of times I used to watch fucking
But I don't know. I find singing easier.
I have a fear of singing to begin with. But
my dream has always been to do a full unironic version of Colours of the Wind on stage from Pocahontas. I love that song so much. Like, just unironically sing that on stage. And the idea of doing that is so... Like, even talking about it, it's just like my throat's closed. I feel like I've got anaphylaxis. It's like,
maybe that'll be our next project.
Sing Colours in the Wind.
We'll call it the Innocence Project, different to the American one, because people will have to come in feeling innocent and behaving kindly.
Oh, man.
And they have to sit in cotton wool chairs and then embrace you in the end and tell you you're a star.
My roommate for years was trying to convince my old roommate was me to do a 1 man 1 hour version of Les Mis where I play every single character from start to finish.
I would enjoy that.
Yeah, dude, like it would be my ultimate dream. Two people, Jared Jekyll suggested always like call it fucking Les Miserable Cunts. It's just you, the whole thing, and like, but like, I would like to be able to access that more camp.
Side of you.
See,
side
I did
of myself.
musical theatre.
So did I in high school. I was the fucking plant in Little Shop of Horrors.
I was one of the 3 street urchins.
The Ronettes.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and I was understudy for Audrey, but whatever.
You would have been a great Audrey.
Thank you.
No, you would have. Yeah, it's true. You would have.
That's all I wanted to be. I haven't let that go.
I did ballet. Almost as fun.
How can we do it, Jenny? How can we become more
I don't know,
free?
Ben. I don't know.
I find it weird because I came from all those serious ones to this. And this is way more free to me.
The number of times I've
Do you know what I
seen
mean?
someone doing like a clown thing on stage and they are just eating shit.
Yeah.
It's dead silence. And it's not just silence. People are looking at them like they are insane.
Yeah.
And feeling sorry for them. And
Yeah.
they don't go, yeah, I know. This is ridiculous. This is like...
Because when they push through, it's worth it. Like
It's
when you watch Tom
unbelievable.
Walker push through an awkward point to get to the other end where it's so funny.
Yeah.
It's like
I
people,
know.
I cry laughing watching it.
Yeah. I can't.
Same, but it's
yeah.
just like, how do you fucking get to
It's
that?
it's a fucking
just
big gamble. I don't
But
know.
but I feel
Yeah,
like
maybe it's just high risk, high reward.
But I feel like what I'm saying is analogous to what people say just about stand-up in general. Like, oh, how do you stand up there and do jokes,
I know.
mate?
Oh, it was
Like
so funny.
us, you just do.
Chris and I bought a flat yesterday,
Oh my
and
God.
the mortgage broker was like, "Oh, this is one of the scariest things. There's nothing else scarier." And then she goes, "Of course, people say public speaking." We were both like, "Oh yeah, that's fucking horrifying." Not you taking all
No,
our
30
money.
years of debt is a lot more horrifying.
Not you taking every penny I have. Stand up. That's the true horror.
It's time to break free. How can it be?
Let's break free.
Seriously.
Bennett. I don't know.
Seriously. Maybe it's just about introducing little bits of spice into each gig.
Ooh,
Do a little bit of
yum, yum. Hello.
Do it.
Here he is. Ladies and
No,
gentlemen.
I'm not talking full drag queen, but just...
I know how you say hello when you say hello, when you're happy with Blake. Why don't you introduce just the hello now for Steph?
No, I don't want to do it.
Just the hello?
No, it feels just very... I feel very
I have
vulnerable.
a certificate too in drag makeup artistry, if that's ever of any use to you.
That's fucking sick if that's true.
Can a straight in this new world? Is a straight guy allowed to
should
be a
tape.
drag queen, or would that just be completely? That's completely problematic and unacceptable.
No,
right?
No,
if
I
anything,
think it's
gender's
good.
an illusion. So you can
Yeah.
identify
No.
however you see fit.
I feel like if there was a straight guy in drag, that would be like enemy number one. It would be like
No, you
'cause
know what's
the line
what's
between-
enemy number one?
Uh.
There's females who do drag, and the male drag queens hate it.
Really?
I saw one of those in Tasmania. A female drag queen.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the male drag. Well, I mean, look, I don't know. I read one article, but the male drag queens apparently don't like it. Female drag kings.
Drag kings. No, drag king is a.
Oh no, sorry,
No,
drag
yeah,
queens
yeah,
because
yeah,
they're
yeah,
still
yeah.
dressed as a
drag queen.
queen,
Yeah.
but they're females.
I feel like a heterosexual male. I might be wrong. I don't know enough about drag queen culture, but I feel like that would be unacceptable.
I don't know.
Yeah, but you can't own camp because of your sexuality.
No,
And
but the thing is, like, what's
And
the
I
one?
mean,
No, but it's
who
like,
are you
what's
trying to please? If you were a happy,
No, I'm not trying. I'm not even saying. Why are we suddenly?
Hey,
I'm not saying that
Ben.
I want a career as a drag queen. What I'm saying is,
I think you
feel
are.
like if there's a. No, look, I'm not saying that I wouldn't enjoy it a lot.
I know you would.
But what I'm saying is, it would be very difficult to delineate what is the line between. This is a warm and loving representation of a drag queen, and this is just a.
oh, but what are drag
gross-
queens? Like
No, but
I had a
but there's
mate
the
who
license.
did. Yeah, but I had a mate who did gender studies who fucking hated drag queens because she was like, they're a complete what do you call thingo of women?
No, they're a fucking parody of the exaggerated cliche
Yeah, but
of
my
women.
point is that people
Yeah.
can be offended by anything. Like, I had a friend who was sincerely offended by drag queens. Like, she was like, it's so offensive that they're portraying women. So, I mean, it doesn't even fucking matter. Like, people
Divine
can,
is just one of the greatest humans that ever lived, man.
do you want to be divine, Benny?
Kind of. Divine is just so fucking. Divine's so
support you.
fucking funny, man.
If you
Have
want
you
to
seen
be...
Pink Flamingos?
Yeah.
Dude, that was like a 40. When was that? 71? How old was that? 40 years?
Still holds up today.
Dude, that is one of the most shocking things I've ever seen in my life. I watched that with my hands over my face the whole time. It's like, what am I seeing?
If you want to be a drag queen, I'll fully support you. And Steph has the TAFE certificate.
You can do it.
He
Maybe
has
that-
great cheekbones.
He does.
Do I?
Yeah.
What does that really?
Polish.
What is that really? No
all
one's ever said that
hangs.
to
Like
me
me.
before. What do you
Eastern
mean? I got chubby
European.
cheeks, don't I?
Cheekbones. This. Huh? Look.
Have I got good cheekbones?
Oh, my God.
I
Yeah, they're
feel-
quite high.
Steph does too.
Really? Oh, I feel like that's nice. I never knew that
Yeah,
about myself before.
There you go, Benny.
Ah,
Ripe for some blush.
Yeah, well, maybe one day. I feel like I've got to do something to shake myself out of this fearful rut.
Yeah, I think
I
you
think
need
that's
to do
why I don't like.
something.
You know what? I feel like this is why I don't like comedy anymore, because I feel like I've hit a stagnation point where it's like I know how to do the thing I know how to do,
Yeah.
and
I still enjoy it.
you know what I'm. Yeah, but like.
But you
I
can
have a
still
lot of
find
fun.
stuff that you can't do yet.
I think that's the thing, but I think I've been.
That's what I always think about. Is I was like, how am I going to make this interesting forever? And that's how
That's true.
I'm trying to make it interesting forever. Is like just pick something. Like that's what Bill Burr said in that comedian podcast. Was like he'll just keep trying to add something to his hour that he couldn't do last year.
I think he's funny.
That's what it's got to be. I think I've been paralyzed by
because you can already do that stuff.
Yeah, and it's that thing of like,
that'll work, but it's boring if you can already do it.
What's the difference between that and the guys that do the same half hour for 30
Not for the audience, but yeah, exactly. You don't want to be that, so
you got to probably just like stretch your brain a little bit, wake up your brain a bit.
I think I'm such an egomaniac. I'm afraid of failing.
Yeah, that too. But so is every comic. So who cares?
But you nailed all the other stuff. Why would you fail at that? That's silly.
Nail all the other stuff.
You did. You just said that you're good at all that thing.
No, I said I'm good at the particular thing that I know how to do. That's not all things.
All right.
I know how to get up on the stage and call the audience a pack of cunts and not have them hate me.
But you know what?
That's pretty important.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we were saying before, failure can be hilarious and fun sometimes too. So.
I'm doing my first gig back next week.
Benny's back.
Where at?
And I have nothing at the Bondi Room that our friend Tom Orr runs.
That is such a brutal reawakening.
Yeah.
I know.
And I have nothing. I've got a story.
I love Tom, but that room can be quite like
I kind of like that room. I had a stoush with the guy there
Cactus Juice first or something.
on the Monday.
Yes.
Will you put me on?
Yes.
All right. I got nothing. I got a story about a racist barber and how much racism you're willing to tolerate while you're having a haircut. That's all I got.
Oh, that's great. That's great. I already love it. Yeah.
All right, I'll come on Monday.
Maybe,
I don't have the internet. Do I have to sign up on the fucking
message
internet?
me.
I'll message you.
Maybe do something fun before you do Tom's Room.
No, I like Tom's Room.
I headlined there not long ago.
I had security escort a man out the last time I did that.
That's happened the last time I was there as well.
Fantastic. And they had a piano on stage, so I was playing the piano while he was being dragged out of the fucking room. Oh, it's in the back room now.
Yeah.
Well, last time I was there, it was in the front room again. The back room's way better.
Yeah.
At any rate, I live down the road from Cactus, so I'll come there now.
Great.
All right. I think that's it. Steph, do you have anything to promote?
How do people find you?
Oh.
On the internet.
I prefer Facebook.
Okay.
I'm still working out Instagram. So
I hate it, so it's all right.
Stephanie Broadbridge.
Stephanie Broadbridge on Facebook. Do you have Twitter or anything?
No.
Smart person.
Yes. Correct. Not a great move in this industry, but the correct one for your soul.
I don't have Twitter because if I'm scrolling through mindless stuff, I feel better on Twitter than Facebook.
Yeah, you feel smarter doing it that way.
Scroll through mindless stuff.
Because when I scroll through the news, I find it depressing.
Why just not scroll through anything?
Too.
Because sometimes I just can't be bothered to read. And so
First stare into the middle distance.
I do that quite a lot, actually.
Just a lot of middle distance staring.
I do quite a bit of middle distance.
I want to know what everyone's up to.
What do you mean?
But I also like Twitter does make me laugh. Like Twitter sometimes is really funny.
I don't have the internet anymore, Steph, so I do like an hour of middle distance staring when I wake up now. Just middle distance stare.
Yeah, and bedtime.
Just sit up in bed staring.
Going to bed and waking up, we both don't use our phones.
I don't know.
So
I don't know how you managed to make that unhealthy. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, it's very healthy. I get up in a good mood
Really?
now. It's like,
but you made it sound a bit scary.
Well,
that's all I do, Steph. I just middle distance stare.
I reckon since I lost the internet, I probably do a good 3 hours of middle distance staring a day. Like a lot of time at home, it's like I'm too tired to read, so I just stare.
Yeah, right.
I love listening to stuff if I'm not reading.
Yeah, me too.
Podcasts and stuff. I love it. I hate TV. I don't like feeling stuck. I feel stuck when I'm watching TV.
Trapped. That's why you're not a movie person.
Yeah,
I
because
don't
if I'm
like
listening
watching
to
TV
stuff, I
either.
can faff, I can knit,
Yeah, right.
I can
This is
cook,
why you're not a movie
I can
person.
clean.
2.5 hours of fucking.
It's hard
yeah,
for me.
it's a lot.
It's really hard
It's
for
such
me
a commitment.
to sit still
I watched
for
a
that
4.5
long.
movie with Blake the other night. It was fucking crazy.
See, that's too much for me.
It was
Life
full
is
on.
short.
When someone asks me if I want to watch a movie, my first question is, how long is it?
Yeah.
You gotta go.
That's
for the
all I
good
wanna
90-minute
know.
fucking-
Yeah.
Yeah, Chris works on me for like a month. Like he'll be like, "There's this new Korean film we're gonna watch."
Have you fucking seen that
and
movie
we're
yet?
going this weekend.
So good.
But
You'll love it.
he'll like work on me to get me to watch it. He'll be like, "I've watched it. It's good. You can watch it." He's trying to get me to watch this one called Taxi Driver, a Korean one though.
Taxi
No, not
Driver?
Taxi Driver. Taxi something. It sounds like Taxi Driver, but it's a Korean film and it's a bit fucked up. But it's like
Oh,
Is that the one that,
a
that's
fucked
the
up
one that won
Korean
all those
film, really?
awards? That's meant to be amazing.
it's another yeah. It's about a reporter when the government was. It's all always linked to the government. Korean films are always.
You should
linked
see
to, like, the
Parasite, Steph.
government.
It's still at the movies. It's fantastic. Everyone
Yeah?
should see Parasite. It's fantastic.
Playing at the Dendy.
Great.
Ah.
All right.
Hey, what are we going to call this episode?
Oh
Steph?
yeah. What is it? What's the word?
What word would you like to call it? Like to use?
Bitchin'.
Bitchin' with Steph Broadridge.
Thanks, Steph.
Thank you.